This is NASA, which stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. NASA is in charge of the US science and technology that is to do with aeroplanes and space. This is the Cape. The Kennedy Space Center is right in the middle of it, with the Indian River on one side and the Banana River on the other. This is ideal as the noise generated by the rockets is so loud it can shatter glass, so you won't want any neighbours nearby. Kennedy Space Center consists of several buildings and sites, such as the Vehicle Assembly Building, where they make rockets, the Launch Control Center, the Launch Pad, the Operations and Checkout, the Space Station Processing Facility, and the Shuttle Landing Facility. As you can see, the Saturn V, which is in the middle, is huge. It is taller than 2 space shuttles, 9 Kennedy Space Center tour buses, 2.4 Statues of Liberty, 4.4 Mercury Redstones, and even 1 American football field. And this is it. The SIC stage is responsible for launching the rocket into the air, as their 5 F-1 rockets propel the Saturn V to a speed of 5,000 miles per hour and consume 15 tons of fuel per second. About 2.5 minutes later, the SIC stage is detached and it lands in the Atlantic. After the SIC stage is dropped into the Atlantic, the S2 stage propels the spacecraft up to a speed of 15,000 miles per hour. The 5 J2 engines at the base of the S2 stage boost the rocket 100 miles above the Earth. This is the first thing that went wrong for Apollo 13. Their inside engine didn't work. The structure of this stage and stage 2 were very much alike. The 1 J2 engine, which powered the 3rd stage, enabled the vehicle to orbit the Earth 3 times, eventually reaching a speed of 24,000 miles per hour when it entered its path towards the Moon. This is the brains of the rocket. It had all the navigation, controls and environmental systems in it. The lunar module was only supposed to take 2 astronauts onto the surface of the Moon and back again, so the 3 Apollo 13 astronauts had an extremely challenging time surviving and getting back to Earth in it. The service module provided the lunar module with oxygen, fuel and electricity. The command module was like the living space for the astronauts and took them back to Earth. This is the command module with the service module behind it. This is what the command module would have looked like after it had landed back home. It's tiny. Unfortunately, in Apollo 13, something went wrong in the service module, so the 3 astronauts couldn't survive in the control module and had to move into the lunar module, which was extremely challenging because it was only designed for 2. Apollo 13 was known as a successful failure, because although they didn't get to walk on the Moon, the 3 astronauts managed to get home alive, having faced so many dangers. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first 2 men to walk on the Moon on the 24th of July 1969 on Apollo 11. This is a moon buggy used to explore the Moon. You can see the moon boots are very big. This is because there is very little gravity on the Moon, so the boots have to be very heavy. One of the places at the Kennedy Space Center is a large area called the Rocket Garden, which has a variety of original rockets and parts of rockets with different histories and purposes. At present, NASA sends space shuttles up on the back of these giant rockets and fuel tanks. These are jettisoned once they are out of Earth's atmosphere. Due to cuts in budgets, NASA rents out a launch pad to a private company whose millionaire owner wants to live out his last days on Mars and die there. Hence they can afford to develop and research space travel even more. Maybe this public/private partnership may lead to space flight systems for the public one day. Imagine boarding a rocket like you board a plane. Apollo 13 has left NASA with a very inspirational motto as a legacy: failure is not an option. NASA has made a lot of mistakes along the way, but they always try to learn from them.